How does it get worse? I didn't even know PlayStation had magazines. I've never had a PlayStation. Generic intro into that goes Moo here, back with another Caddicarus video, and today we're doing the weird world of PlayStation magazines, which I didn't even know PlayStation had magazines. I've never had a PlayStation, actually, but this could be a little bit of a longer video. Last week was my very first time watching Caddicarus, and it was it was something about the pricey worst games on PlayStation, something like that, where had a whole bunch of games that I've never heard of. It was a very interesting video because it was, I guess, his new style of content making, because it was a little off the wall and crazy, but I really enjoyed it. You can check out my reaction to that video. I'll leave it right up there. Also, have a link down below in the description, and if I continue doing Caddicarus videos, there'll probably be a playlist on my channel with all of them going to chronological order if you got to binge watch through all of those. But thank you to all the people that told me that I should check out this video, and all the people that like the comments telling me that I should check out this video. I do read every single one of your comments, leave them down below. I also react to a ton of different stuff, like Scott the Waz is on the channel as well, JonTron and stuff like that. If you're interested in that, you can definitely go check out some of those videos. I'm learning a lot about video games. I'm definitely going to learn a lot about PlayStation and PlayStation magazines, because I didn't know those even existed. But shout out to the patrons. I could not do this if it was not for them. $3 a month to get you all my reaction videos a day early. It would not be possible if it was not for them. And I do read all our comments, whether you're a patron or not, whether you're subscribed or not. But I hope you're subscribed, as we are less than 2,000 subscribers away from 100,000 subscribers, which is an insane milestone to think about. I'm really excited to watch this video. It's a longer video, but let's go ahead and jump on into it. Okay. Yes, this is my second time watching him. I don't know if this is the old or new style. I'm not sure how old the last video I did was. What? I didn't even know PlayStation had magazines. I've never had a PlayStation.
Cold, dead heart back to life more than picking up an old video game magazine and looking through its pages. And that's because I'm really lonely. Last time on the Caddicarus show, I decided to take a look at my entire collection of PS1 demo discs, and it was a hoot.
Doing that on carpet's psychopathic behavior.
After I went through 46 separate demo discs and got over 12 hours worth of gameplay footage and trailers, we all came to the conclusion that I was sad. But I failed to touch on something rather special in that video. Magazines.
It's packed with stories,
I remember magazines, but not
fun things
video
to
game
do.
ones.
And I'm not talking about any old magazines like Portable Restroom Operator, Modern Drunkard Magazine, Potato Review, The Croquet Gazette, Trout and Salmon, Sheep, Goats and Alpacas, Lighthouse Digest, Wind Tunnel International, Funeral Service Time.
Some of these might be
Girls
real.
and Corpses. Dude, I can't wait for Hiroshima the musical. I'm talking about the official UK PlayStation magazines that hid those demos inside them as free gifts to begin with. Yes, we're talking about books today.
Wait, they gave
Isn't
you
that
demo
exciting?
discs inside of a...
Please make sure you get out your ducks on the road. Here is Stephen Fu.
Reminds me of
23. Occupation,
when they put toys
chef.
in
The best
cereal.
PlayStation game, too many games to choose from. And the worst, I don't buy bad games.
Wow.
Well, at least he's cooler than Tony Yusuf down here. Why is he completely okay with a box falling on his head? You thought the PS1 demo discs gave me nostalgia? Well, you clearly haven't plonked me down in a chair and shoved one of these in my face. I get so giddy and excited reading these things, I'm not allowed to take them out in public. And like, I don't need to give you a detailed
I don't think I knew how to read in
magazines, because that means
1999.
talking about the history of published
Definitely
written
couldn't.
text that started in Get Stuffed BC. But for a basic rundown, after the world's first newspaper column was published in 1605, which was aptly named Relation aller Phänomen und Gettenswürdigen Historien, the idea of releasing printed text media on a regular basis with constantly updated information seemed like a great idea. And then 6 years later, King James thought it'd be very funny to release the same book over and over again for the next 400 years. Newspapers covered general topics and worldly goings-on, but that was just not very fun. People didn't have hobbies in the 17th century. Until somebody called Armleg Nosefoot decided that if lots of people loved throwing waste buckets on the vicar's head, then they could probably sell a regular releasing publication covering all the latest gossip in the world of poo in wood. This turned out to be true, and hobbyists with the same common interests started buying into the idea of these less formal, more satirical, and more interesting news books that covered a single specific topic they wanted to know everything about in as updated of a way as possible. The first documented example of a magazine was a German philosophy and literary magazine that launched in 1663.
Wow.
And then 332 years later, the first issue of the official UK PlayStation magazine was launched.
1995. It's older than me.
The PS1, which was me. Sure, it was 1995. And I was 1 year old at the time, but I knew. You see, if you lived in the UK, the only way you could get PS1 demo discs was if you purchased a copy of the official UK PlayStation magazine, which I think is a fantastic deal. Playing the free trials of games was one thing, but what if you wanted more supplementary material to read for when you're stuck on the seat? When I think of the toilet, I think of mutant winged babies with doughy legs.
This was a world before smartphones, remember that? Or like handheld consoles.
Was something that just enriched the experience of playing the demos that came with them. Not just because the games you played as demos were written about in detail inside the magazines with exclusive screenshots, but also because you could feel the excitement of the writers dribbling off of the pages, and you could enjoy reading them knowing that thousands of other people felt the same excitement that you did. Hang on. What in the goddamn hell is this?
What is that?
Biscuits?
Wait a minute.
Concrete? Why are you telling me to shush, Lara? What do you know that I don't? It wasn't just you, a console, and a TV anymore.
I did like the Tomb Raider games quite a lot. I've recently played through them. Mad Catz is that old?
Multiple people talking about them while showing off letters from other people also talking about them. And big shout out, who here remembers letters?
I don't.
Post? Mail? Remember that? Ooh, there's a guy here complaining that there aren't enough realistic representations of male body shapes in games. I mean, he doesn't mention realistic female shapes, but shut up! Here's a picture of Jin Kazama with a beer belly, and now I want to see more of this in every game ever. Even though you'd usually read them alone, these magazines were strangely social, and scouring through them nowadays feels like opening a portal to the past.
I've still never been in the UK.
Oh my god, look at the old Currys and Argos logos! Woolworths! Oh man, I remember buying games from you all the time before you closed down. Which makes sense because your prices were terrible.
Woolworths sold...
Station.
See, I know Woolworths because of the city, because I live in the city that they started in,
PS2 games from there when I was old enough to get a bus on my own to the nearest city. Rest in pies. And of course, I must send my deepest condolences to Blockbuster. We all miss you so,
I miss Blockbuster.
So much. The way these magazines were written, the layouts, the pictures, the ads, the colours...
It's Gex!
It reminds me of when older games actually put effort and love into their manuals to make you feel like you got a free book alongside your game. And speaking of free books, you'd sometimes get exclusive magazine cheat books for hundreds on top of hundreds of games.
I had those for Gen 4 Pokemon.
Of the tiny cheat section at the back of the magazines. You know, just in case you really wanted to play Die Hard Trilogy with screaming plants.
I do, actually.
And if that wasn't enough, you could always call up the 73 pence per minute adjusted for inflation strategy hotline phone number. Wait. What's that on the page?
Final Fantasy 7? I have that. I did the Mission Abridged.
Desperation. Did you know in the mid to late 90s you could even call all of the publishers and game developers' offices directly just to ask when a game is coming out? Can you imagine doing that today?
Yeah.
Hello? Is that Konami? Yes, sir. Piss off! They had special features too, like a monthly competition getting people to do the most outrageous PlayStation-related thing, and they would send up to £1,000 to whoever they thought deserved it. Some people got just under 100 quid for stapling a Tomb Raider logo on a speedboat, but others got the full amount, like when this absolute bro decided to get married to his fiancée in 1998, dressed as Parappa the Rapper for the entire ceremony.
What is that? Also, that's crazy.
They got sponsored by a dozen game publishers and went around the UK in a decked-out multiplayer PlayStation bus ready to play with the public. They went busking with a portable PS2, an amp and a Guitar Hero controller to play the game on the street. The magazines featured multiple developer interviews, small reviews of websites. Oh, sorry, I mean net sites. There were screenshots of nerdy movies coming out, like these never-before-seen snaps on the set of Phantom Menace back in 1998.
I've never seen Star Wars.
They did E3 coverage, and even retrospectives on multiple franchises, like this beautiful 16-page spread on the history of Tekken games.
16 pages?
Sorry, Ken-Tech, with a rivalry and family tree included. Also, were you a little bit stuck on Spyro 1 when trying to find all of the dragons? Well, luckily for you, there's 6 pages in issue 41 that walks you through the locations of all of them. And many other walkthroughs of this style would be featured in other issues. Not complete 100% ones, but just enough to give you a helping hand in case you were really stuck.
It's a really useful magazine.
There was one time when the magazine got pictures of some employees of Capcom dressed up as zombies with minced beef hanging out of their stomachs, scaring everybody queuing up for the midnight release of Resident Evil 2.
Oh, my very first Resident Evil game. I did the remake,
Melissa thought that if there was a movie about Crash Bandicoot, Brad Pitt should play Crash Bandicoot. The UK PlayStation magazine was packed with so much charm, character, third-party franchises, and exclusive article segments that came back month after month that it was enough to convert Nintendo fans stuck with mostly the same franchises. Hell, it could even convert the biggest die-hard Sonic fan. I must go quickly.
I am
even got to find out things about your friends that you had no idea about, like in issue 50 of the PS2 magazine, where my mate Ben here, as in the guy who animates Asduf movie Ben, managed to play the original Killzone before anyone else in the UK, and he was featured in the magazine because of that. And while eating dinner with the magazine editors and all the other members of his group were talking about Killzone, you know, the brand new game that they just played that hadn't come out yet, he decided to say, Ben doesn't like spicy food. Dude, what is wrong with you? This is good! The official UK PlayStation magazine was just classic. In fact, you could say
also the Sprite can.
The Badgers Nadgers. It was the 90s. Something else I really like
Different
is the
time.
A to Z section, which would compile extremely brief reviews of most of the PS1 and PS2 bestsellers at the time. And as each issue came out, they wouldn't
Resident
only
Evil.
just copy and paste the reviews for following issues, they would often update their scores and their review sentences based on how well certain games have aged and how much lifespan
that's
they
cool.
got out
They
of the games
update
after
it.
being able to play them a little longer than on the week the game originally came out. They did this in the Platinum section as well when PS1 games would sell over 400,000 copies in its first year. They
Oh.
would re-review those games that just became Platinum, or as you
I didn't realize
call
that
them,
was a thing.
greatest ugly disgusting hits. Re-reviews like this you don't tend to see that often
I
on
guess
review sites
it's
nowadays,
just kinda like
and it's nice
records.
to see it in a monthly review column here. I also love to keep these things and read them back for the really old game reviews.
For
Some of them
games
are pretty
I've never
damn
heard of.
accurate and well argued for the time, and others make absolutely no sense to me at all. This is by far the best tennis game available.
6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. Gex 3D versus
Gex!
Rascal. Oh,
That's
a
so
difficult
Gex.
one. What a close pairing. Anyone could win that. I really don't know. Final Fantasy VII, 10 out of 10. A Japanese RPG? You're joking. Why is
What?
that so hard to believe?
But
Crash
still got a 10
Bandicoot
out of 10.
2 soundtrack, 5 out of 10. Usual plinky plonky music. Are you mental, magazine?
Plinky. That's pretty plinky plonky. Yeah, no, that is. That's not so much.
Usual plinky
face.
plonky music, my crack. Did you know that Tekken is the best PlayStation fighting game around?
Is it?
But Tekken 2 is rated higher. Did you know that In the Hunt was dated in 1996? This is dated?
Yeah, it is.
Seriously? By the way, Battle Arena Toshinden is handsome. Yeah, this is
Handsome.
handsome. Didn't you know?
Is it?
Apparently, Ultimate Parodius Deluxe is predictable.
What is this?
Yes! Parodius is predictable.
What is Parodius?
Did you nincompoops rate cheesy 7
What
out
is
of 10?
cheesy?
You rated this game 7 out of 10. What about Enter the Matrix in the PS2 magazine? It was given an 8 out of 10.
What just happened?
Do you know what my favorite survival horror is?
No?
Devil May Cry. The
Oh, I'm
official
playing
UK
through it right now.
PlayStation
I
magazine
literally
was
streamed
also
it today. I
unbelievably
stream it on
successful
Saturdays.
back
I'm
in the
uploading
day.
on the gaming
Not
channel.
only going on to becoming the best-selling
I'm
PlayStation magazine in the
doing,
UK,
Devil May Cry
throughout
4
the
right now.
PS2, PS3,
I'm
and
almost
PS4
halfway.
end of the magazine, but for a few months it was the best-selling video game magazine in the world, reaching record-breaking
How much
heights
did it
in
cost?
February 1999
Oh, five-
when issue
five quid.
42, featuring a Metal Gear Solid review, an hour-long demo, sold over 450,000 copies in that single month. Goddamn, Roy,
How did they-
what did you do?
I have no idea.
And that success still carries
That's
on to this day.
a
It's
lot
nowhere
for
near as
5
popular as
quid.
it once was, what with the internet and everything, but the magazine is still going strong. In fact, I love reading these things so much that I started collecting every single issue of the magazine.
Wait, does
from
he have every
August
single one?
2011 to this very day. 113 issues I have so far. I have
Since
nearly
20
10 years worth of this crap, and this is why my postman loves me.
Is it still coming out? Wait, this is still a thing? Also leaves key in the door? Crazy.
Ah, yes! If you buy one more of these, I swear to God! Wait a second.
Do I need
What's
to
this here?
do I need
It's
to
an old
pull
leaflet
out
left
the
behind from the early 2000s,
desk gun?
but what is it? Thanks,
You wanna-
Gunship Battle Total Warfare, the smartphone game that definitely existed in 2003 and was advertised in this magazine. I'm sure you have all noticed
really?
recently that my
Get
videos
that-
are the longest and most intricate they have ever been in my channel's 8-year history.
Get that bag.
It's sponsorships like this that allow me to do these ridiculous videos about any topic you want to see.
Shout out to
without me
patrons.
having to worry
I couldn't
about
do
the
this if it wasn't for
pitchfork
them.
of YouTube algorithms. And pitchforks are definitely not what you'll be using while battling on land, air, and sea with Gunship Battle, who are indeed the sponsors of today's video.
Nice.
If you couldn't work that out. This is a fierce, real-time tactical war management game that allows you to control the battlefield.
Is that
with anything
a
from
catamaran
airstrikes to
or is that a
rallying and
trimaran? I
scouting,
wanna say it's a
while
trimaran.
producing your own Army Green, Navy Blue, and Air Force Yellow. It's a game built on historical
Air Force
background
Yellow.
with weapons and units
What
inspired
are
by
on the
battles of
side?
the past, combined with high-quality graphics to make it all feel as realistic as possible. In fact, it's so real you'll swear that you're getting hurt. You can even form a front line with players from around the world and enjoy endless
I'm sorry, why is the submarine on the
connecting to
surface?
internet, which, funnily enough, you can also use right now to go to the link in the description and download the game for free. What have you got to lose, your
I
money?
mean, it's not in the description of my video, but
Well, I
the
just said
original
it was
video is
free.
first link down
Pay
below.
attention. Another reason I love going back to these magazines are for the concept screenshots, along with ancient and totally wrong game and console information.
Like what?
Most of them were rumors, to be fair, but they're still so funny to me. This is why I
Wait,
still collect
how do they have a
magazines
picture that's a
today,
rumor?
for when they eventually become become outdated, so I can look back and laugh at them. And it reminds me of a simpler time when we needed to know if a game would be memory card compatible to save the game.
Wait, what if it wasn't?
Why are all the colors of the Tombi screenshots completely inverted? Oh hey, it's my favorite character from Crash Bandicoot, Bonus Bob. Oh
Bonus
look,
Bob,
it's the best
that's a name.
character from Metal Gear Solid, President At. Wow, it's Cheap
I don't
Cheap
think
the
it's his
Cooking
name.
Chicken from Parappa the Rapper, looking a lot like a frog. Oh my lord,
Yeah,
this is
it's
just
fine.
painful. Brave Fencer Musashi never released
That's
in
not
the
a real
UK.
thing.
Why must you tease me with this magazine? Remember when Resident Evil 2 looked completely different and had Elza Walker as a playable character?
Who?
Remember when the Crash 2 box art was
Never
going
played
to
Crash
look like
Bandicoot.
this? Remember when everyone thought that the PS2 would end up looking like that?
Oh.
That or that? Remember the release
That
of
was
the
definitely a
Pocket
smoke
Station,
detector.
when everyone thought that Tekken 3 would be on a cartridge for a new add-on to the PS1, or when Thrill Kill was still on its way to be released before being banned at the last minute? How
What do you
about when
mean
everyone
banned?
thought Crash would use a real grenade launcher in Crash 3? Or when Star Wars Episode
You have
1
my
Racer
interest.
was going to come out on the PS1, but then ended up on the Nintendo 64? Well, that's clearly a screenshot from The Evil Dead. That is not Resident Evil. Resident
it's
Evil
not.
Dead. Beautiful water effects, eh? Oh yeah, sure. It looks just like that time I got my cling film stuck in the drawer. Hey,
Saran wrap, but
Cortex. You feeling okay, buddy?
No.
Ah, yes, I remembered that bit in Klonoa. You know, when he ran around with a gun? Did you know that in Tomb Raider 3, there'll be new pests to fight, like dinosaurs? Because they weren't in the previous games. I wonder how long it will take for me to beat Medieval. Oh, great. 40
Medieval.
hours. Good to
Oh,
know.
cool.
And I'm guessing that's including the 32 hours where you stand still and don't do anything. What
Oh,
exactly do we
wait.
do in Crash
40
Bandicoot
hours is
1
kinda
then?
crazy.
Oh, yeah. We run along and collect the apples.
Actually, no.
Is
I
it
take
actually
back.
apples?
No, I don't like doing this. It's not fun, though, because like, I feel like I spent my entire life telling people that Crash Bandicoot doesn't collect apples, because if he doesn't, it doesn't even look like an apple, it looks more like a mango.
I've never had a mango.
Fruit. Why do people get this wrong? It's a rookie error. Why are we doing it? He's not
Is that his
apples, he's
actual
not
shower?
allowed people allowed to make this magazine.
PS2
It looks like
magazines
a
has lot of
RV
this
shower
stuff too.
almost.
You know, back in the days of 32-inch HD ready TVs costing you £1,400 or £2,000 adjusted for inflation.
Ooh,
Remember
and now
when
it's even
Shadow of the
more now.
Colossus was Eco 2, or when LA
Shadow of the Colossus
was
is
completely
old? What?
different and was going to be a PS3 exclusive. Remember when Ape Escape 4 was rumored to come out on PS3 from these leaked screenshots? Check out this old concept image for the
PSP.
with an iPod touch wheel and no analog stick. And who can
Oh,
forget
oh.
the pure majesty
That's a
of
boomerang.
the original DualShock 3? It's so banal.
Wait, that's what it was
it's
supposed to
so
be?
Beautiful. Oh wow, look at this. They
That
even
Alan
gave
Becker?
that Mega 64
Wait.
Katamari video a
Wait,
shout
whoa.
out before YouTube was even a thing.
Wait, no.
That just doesn't feel right.
Animated
Oh my
versus
good
animation.
God. For a second, I thought that said something else.
Gotta be honest though, even though this was the gaming magazine that was in my household when I was really, really young, I don't have that many real memories reading it. I just have flashes here and there of opening the pages and looking at the pictures. In fact, I had to rebuy every issue of the PS1 magazine for this video.
How much was that?
Ignore the cover. It was the 90s, this was cool. The magazine that I grew up with and what I get properly nostalgic for is in fact the PS2 magazine. And you're
Okay,
probably
and
looking
also
at the title
Pro
of this video
Evolution
right
Soccer.
now and thinking, oh, well, you spent this whole video so far saying that the PlayStation magazine was perfect, and if it's still doing so well today, then why on earth are you saying it's weird? What are you, high?
Well,
What is it
one
now?
of the reasons are the ads in these things. Some of them end up being really strange. Is that
What-
a
what?
fart machine for only $12.99? But the really weird ones I'll save for later. For now,
Like
I just want to
what?
go back to my childhood and enjoy it for a bit. I mean, this was a time where tiny widescreen TVs were so expensive that you'd have to win them in a competition for even a chance to own one.
Oh,
And
it's also
when
16
Bugsy
by 9.
3D costed more money than Doom. Also, everybody drank
Ooh.
Sprite apparently. Sprite,
Did they?
Sprite.
I
What's
can't
wrong
drink
with everyone?
Sprite.
Dude,
I also
does
don't
anyone
drink
in the
soda. It's
UK
been
remember
over 10
Sunny
years.
D in the mid-90s before it was taken off the shelves and redone because it was too much like maple syrup? Oh, look at all of this retro merch! I remember catalogs of
Okay, that's
clothes
pretty
for this
cool.
expensive Lara Croft
watch?
brand. But I don't remember these Tenchu pajamas. Very cool though. Look at these Final Fantasy figures.
Yo.
Oh my giddy Aunt Fanny, this brings back memories. I had this old school first edition Lego Naboo Starfighter. And
That's a
these Crash
mouthful.
Bandicoot toys, I nearly had the entire set of these back in the late 90s. And since then, I've basically lost all of them, aside from this singular Aku Aku prop that sticks to Crash's
Wait, is that not
nose.
bonus,
I'm
Bob?
really sad I don't
What?
have these anymore, and you can only get them on eBay nowadays. problem is they cost more than my first car. Can you believe that Eminem got arrested for video game piracy? Wait a second.
Wait, was that really a thing back then?
Is that a Metal Gear Solid pen?
I've never played Metal Gear.
And a Metal Gear Solid hip flask that you can keep in your croc backpack? Oh boy, all of these
Like
magazines I got
like
online still have the forms to subscribe to it.
Hang on a sec.
Can you actually
get my
do that?
card.
I get to pick a free game for subscribing? Awesome! Can I have a copy of Crash Bandicoot 2 with a Crash 1 front cover that's zoomed in too far to the left corner? Now to
Why
put
is
my
it
details
cropped
in.
like that?
Title, King, initials, D, surname, DD. King DDD. Address?
Nice.
I'm not doxing myself. Choice of free game? Cash Banuka 2,
Banuka?
Gringotts Steakhouse.
Is that a... What? Is that like a mailbox thing?
Mr. Tiger Woods invites you to take your best shot. When, anytime, where, any place. Is that what he said to his mistress? Give golf balls goosebumps. Is that what happened when he was caught with his mistress? Well, here's a dreadful
Dude,
guitar
Tiger
ad for you.
is...
There you are, guitar in hand.
I knew Tiger was good, then I started playing golf.
Gallagher. You know, the best guitar player in the world. Make it a total reality. Be the envy of your mates and the
No
idol
idea.
of all the girls. Yes. Like this guy. The guitar is easy to learn, won't break the bank, and beats the hell out of boring computer games. Get
Wow.
alive. Get a
It's
guitar.
almost like
You
the,
know, that's the best way to advertise to people buying a
what
video
was
game
it? The
magazine.
big sword
Tell them
game.
they have no life. You know, just like those nerds that play board games. Why not insult them while you're at it? They say an army marches on its stomach. This one does it on its ass. Do you want to buy Spyro the Dragon with a free memory card? Or Toka 2 touring cars with a free... small toy car.
It's an M3 though?
Control station
Okay.
pad, 8 fire buttons with auto fire, ASCII joypad, easy to hold and ergonomically designed
12
pad,
pounds ain't
England
bad.
controller. This is really cool. The best picture I found though, this
PG
massive
2097.
2-page spread ad of Destruction Derby 2. And for some reason, a tiny Paul from Tekken hanging out on the right.
Why? Why?
These ads can be pretty
Why?
creative too, even if they were just still images being printed on a page.
Daikatama,
Here,
that was
there's
the
an
game I was
driver
talking
that
about.
opens up from the front cover. That's a very small detail, but you will remember the game because of it. And on the front cover
Yeah,
of this
it's different.
magazine,
It opens
Crash
up
allows
sideways.
you to dissect him in order to surgically remove Duke Nukem. Ah, yes, the
Know
classic
nothing about
tale
Duke
of the
Nukem.
three kings searching for Bethlehem to pay respects to baby Jesus. By following the star of the DualShock. My favorite kinds of ads, though, are the ones that go on for multiple pages and almost tell a
And
story. Like
I'm
with
recording
this
this on
Heart
an
of
Xbox.
Darkness ad here. Little Johnny was enjoying the sedate pace of his new lift to school when... Blam! He's dead now! Hang on a sec. Is that...
What?
Is that a power glove? For
Oh,
the
no, not the
PS1?
Power
Why didn't
Glove.
I know about
The
this?
Angry
I need
Video
one
Game
for a
Nerd
video
video.
post-haste. Actually, no, I take that back. I want to do a video on the G-Con bazooka.
Yeah, that's kinda
How in
cool.
the mother of Christ does that thing work?
I don't
How
know,
about
but
the
I wanna
drink
find
can
out.
clasp for your controller. Actually, no, screw the glove. I want the PlayStation controller that's a shoe. Yes, this is a real thing. You
No, it's
try
not.
playing a game while pressing
No,
buttons
it's
with
not.
your toes. It may be agonizing, but at least Tarantino will hire you for his next movie. Just dunk
I get
it.
that reference.
We put the S in action. What?
Who?
Saction?
Yeah, like I said, these ads did have the potential to be pretty strange. But don't
They
worry,
were.
it only gets more disturbing and disgusting from here.
Ooh, just what I always wanted. A full spread, high quality shot of the faces in Spice World. This is
What is
okey-doke
Spice
lick,
World?
Stinky poke stick. Do you know the best way to advertise a new golf game?
What?
Use a bleeding dead rat.
Why?
Just what I wanted in my PlayStation magazine. An adrenal gland. What were they thinking? Come on, kids, buy our new game. It's got a man in a broken submarine that's trapping him with broken glass, and he's drowning.
fine.
And you look
That's
me in
fine.
the eye and explain what's going on with this page.
Couldn't tell you.
I thought this was an ad for a video game, not an excuse to call a therapist.
And the weird world of PlayStation magazines doesn't stop there.
No, it doesn't.
There wasn't just the questionable ads, but the magazine itself had a seedy and sticky underbelly.
Oh. What? I was talking.
You
Did I say
see,
the
when
Bible game?
UK
I actually
PS2
still
magazine
have a
properly
copy of the
kicked
Bible
off,
game.
A lot of the writers and editors for this thing started trying to appeal to lads. Don't know what a lad is? Good. Alright, fine. I'm being a really unfair judge of character here. I'm sure that everyone involved in the publishing of this magazine throughout the years were top people, but there's a reason why there's an entire paragraph in the
About
magazine's
what?
Wikipedia page dedicated to how the focus
Targeting,
of the magazine
okay.
went from video games to bare breeds. In the early 2000s, with the PS2's launch and sales figures being more intense than anyone could have predicted, more general audiences than ever were picking up a video game console for the first time. And not just for the built-in DVD player, but because it was the trendy
yeah,
thing
that's
to
why a
do
lot of
in
people-
Britain. Everybody and their
Yeah,
nan
in
had
Japan.
a PS2 back then.
Granny, I want to go.
However, official PlayStation magazine sales
I remember getting
were
a DVD
dwindling,
player for
especially when
Christmas one year.
compared to the staggering 500,000 copy heights it reached in 1999, because so much of the PS2's general consumer base only wanted a DVD player with family-friendly party games, or were young adults who wanted to play a singular game that everyone else was playing, like GTA Vice City. Think of it like
Never
how
played
most
Vice
people
City.
only got an Xbox for Halo. This meant the magazine had
I
a big
played
problem.
Halo a couple years
They
ago.
needed to appeal to a wider audience to let people know the PS2 had more to offer them, and so for the early 2000s, a
FIFA.
massive chunk of the general UK gaming population at the time, boys will be boys types, you know, lads, were the next big market to attract to the magazine, which it had
What
already
in the
done okay
world?
before in the PS1 magazines with plenty of football game coverage,
Kickoff
and with the
97.
fact that gaming was still pretty male heavy at the time, but it was still seen as a pretty uncool hobby for anyone over the age of 18 with oi kinds of friends. So it only made sense
Dude,
to
I
try and make the
remember when,
magazine
like,
more
Not everybody I knew
appealing to
played
them, but
video
this
games.
also meant that the quality of the magazine and the tastefulness of the magazine dropped so
That's a
heavily
question.
that yes,
Page
it got its own
145.
mention on Wikipedia. This here was a best-selling phone wallpaper for the PS2 magazine back in 2004. Chav and proud. That gives you the best idea how downhill things went.
And can I just say, for as awful as the magazine would end up becoming, I still can't help but love it. I mean, I'm a cringe connoisseur, and the stuff that happens in this magazine is so cringy I practically turn inside out.
The earliest
no.
issues of the magazine when the PS1 was still active were,
Rat
as you'd
Attack.
expect, trying to appeal to new adopters of the idea of a CD-based video game console, or, well, video games in general. It's genuinely well-written stuff and very entertaining, even if you have no clue what a rock-solid
was
hard
golf,
was.
like,
And even
crazy
better, if you were
popular
already into
back
gaming
then?
or already into PlayStation, there was an undeniable passion and wit behind the text and interviews that only you would be able to appreciate. Like with this interview with the original Grand Theft Auto developers. Why should anyone care about your game? Peer pressure and Satan. That's incredible. These issues do have the occasional
Okay,
outdated
that
comic
makes
or
me
remark
curious.
that would get the manly men to have a giggle, such as here where a fan writes in addressing a comment that the editor made in the previous issue saying that 96% of their readers were men. He makes this
Well,
really awful long-winded joke about
I think
how
like
he's so offended because he's definitely 100%
89% of
a
my
man,
audience
but
is
they've now told him
male.
there's a 4% chance that he's not a man, which means there's a 4% chance of him being remotely female, and that means that 4% is thinking about doing the washing up and the ironing. Oh my god,
Oh,
this is too hard to read.
no.
Oh look, guys, you ever been in that situation when all you want to do is play your vidigums, but those women keep getting in the way? Bloody women! They don't play the station. They don't eat pizzas. Look
I
at them
haven't
not
had pizza in 8
understanding
years.
anything. Am I right, boys?
And then,
Boy.
this lady called Wendy jinxed it in December
Who?
1997.
Why?
At
What'd she
least
say?
you don't have to resort to printing topless pictures of Lara Croft like some magazines.
That's the
Well,
very first thing they're gonna do now.
70 pages later.
Oh, in the same
Watch
book?
out, everyone. We're scanning her top. They're coming out. What's that? Too extreme. Not for her, it isn't. Buy one, get two free.
Wait a
Check this out.
minute.
In this
Wait
letter,
a
guy
minute.
complains to the magazine about his wife, who he calls her indoors. Her indoors. If she's that much of a burden, why are you complaining to a video game magazine? Call a lawyer. There's another letter
True.
here where some overly angry reader takes it upon himself to mention how his wife's copy of the Cosmopolitan had a nakey in it.
I mean, he doesn't mention the context of those pictures or what they were saying in the magazine about them, but shh, it's a secret.
And because of that, that means that people complaining about sexism in the game industry in the mid to late 90s are invalid, and no one is allowed to criticize the magazine's occasional tasteless jokes because they're wishy-washy leftists.
I feel like somebody put that in there.
Okay, calm down, man.
And you know what? I don't care what gets shown in magazines or what jokes you make inside them. People can look at whatever they like and do whatever they want
I mean,
with what
if
they
the
see.
magazine's
as long as
still-
no one's getting hurt
Is
or
it
harassed.
still coming out?
Whatever floats your boat, I don't care.
It has to
Same
be,
with
right?
making jokes. A joke is indeed a joke. As long as it's not mindless and pointless hatred, go on, have a laugh. But with both
Fair.
of these examples, context is everything. Did I purchase this magazine to stare at some models and then have a go at my wife behind her back? No, I want PlayStation games. And if a bad or tasteless joke is in here, then it's still a bad and tasteless joke, whatever it's about. And if your joke is so bad and so blunt that it doesn't come across as a silly innuendo,
And
but
just-
instead a statement, then yeah, I'm not surprised that multiple people complained.
And I agree
Yeah,
with the
what
reply
did
made by
they
the
say?
editor here. They go along with the opinion that anyone should legally be allowed to see pictures of adults that they want to if they're looking for them. But this argument is redundant because this is a PlayStation magazine about video games. A perfect answer as far as I'm concerned, especially since they also admit with characters like Lara Croft that they do unavoidably show off some assets every so often. But it's never the entire point of the magazine, and any passing comment about anything like that is literally just a funny one-off passing comment about how blatant the designs of some of the games and their characters were. But other than that, it's a PlayStation
it's know your
magazine,
audience.
not the Cosmopolitan. What more do you want? You want something a bit more blatant? Then I suggest you pick up the latest issue of Girls and Corpses
don't do that.
magazine. I hear that Gwyneth Paltrow's toxic shit is really ripe this season.
By the way, I'd like you to do something for me. Just take the editor's response to that
dude,
question.
the JonTron Goop video is
Very
crazy.
nice. And just stash it there. Lovely. Stick it behind your ear
Not
or
saying
something, and save it for
anything
later,
from
'cause you're
Goop
gonna
is
need it.
toxic.
Okay, so yeah, when
for
the magazine
legal
was all about
reasons,
the
I
PS1,
suppose.
it's a bit
not
dated
saying
and
that,
awkward.
just saying
I mean,
Gwyneth
God,
Paltrow reminds
Lara's
me of
chest
Goop.
isn't even that big in the games that she stars in, so explain that one.
No.
But it's
No.
still rather tame, all things considered. Like I said, it's as you'd expect. It's mostly PlayStation goodness from beginning to end, with a few laughs along the way. And a high-resolution, ultra-detailed, full-page image of a Mudokan with his eyes stitched
what?
shut. This is completely fine. I'm okay with
I don't
this.
know what that
The
is.
PS2
I'm
division of the
glad
magazine
I don't
launched.
know what
It
that
all
is.
felt relatively similar to the PS1 days in terms of writing, presentation, and game coverage. But a few issues in, sales were starting to dwindle because of that cultural divide on who was buying the PS2 in droves in the first place that I was talking about earlier. Most people didn't care about reviews of multiple types of games.
They just wanted a
to
DVD.
play the same things everyone else was playing and have a DVD player. You know, they wanted to be cool and trendy. So as soon as November
were DVDs that
2002's
crazy?
issue 26 hit for the PS2 side of the magazine, that's when it got a bit of a redesign.
Devil May
and
Cry
it started
2.
dumbing
Oof.
things down to try and attract even more of what they saw to be their largest target audience with more terrible gags. And then by issue 34, the PS2 magazine was redesigned again and basically became loaded with an extra dash of FHM.
I don't know what.
Winnie the Pooh's Rumbly Tumbly Adventure.
Remember the magazine
I don't know
editor's reply
any of
to that
those,
weird
actually.
letter they got about women apparently not being allowed to complain about nakies in this magazine? Well, I want you to get that comment out right now. Yeah, come on, give it over. Yeah, just behind your ear, get it out. Yeah, there you go there. Smells fantastic! What does it say? That the argument against more adult content is completely redundant because you're talking to a PlayStation magazine.
Yeah?
Well, that philosophy went right out the window after issue 34 of this bloody thing.
They wanted to let more of the UK lad population know that it's okay, they can still buy this magazine, they aren't nerds for liking a PlayStation, and they aren't going to be made fun of by their fragile and insecure little friends, because now we have breeds! There's something
Really?
strangely
How are you allowed to
sleazy
do
about
that?
the PS2 magazine from issue 34 onwards, and yes, nowadays, I'm fully aware you still see plenty of
Bayonetta.
blatant, stereotypically attractively designed characters like with Bayonetta, Tekken, or Street Fighter characters, but unlike any of them, there's absolutely zero empowerment,
What in
self-awareness, or character to most of what is
The
displayed in
smile.
the magazines. If you don't have any of that, you end up with Ride to Hell Retribution, and everybody loves that. And most real women or video game women featured in the mag at this point were boiled down entirely to creepy, inappropriate, or downright insulting comments that just don't fit with the rest of the magazine. And that's the problem here, not
Just,
the images themselves. It's like,
Hey
I'm guessing the
guys,
audience,
Wallace
like,
and
grew
Gromit
up-
and Project Zoo is a decent game, and we also think that Klonoa 2 is crap because it has cartoons in it, and cartoons are for nerds.
but
Did
if you
it,
like
like,
the PS2
help
itself,
sales?
that's completely fine. It doesn't make you a nerd. I'm really sorry. Please don't hurt us. Look, here's a woman. If you play PS2, she'll get into bed with you because you're cool. PS2 is
What?
cool. Not the nerdy games,
Oh.
but PS2
Oh.
is cool.
Oh.
Here's a man. Did you
Who-
know that he
wait, is
thinks
that Niki
Samantha
Lauda?
Fox is a minger? He wouldn't even give her one.
Now, I am fully expecting a few people to call me out because I, just for one example, have indeed made jokes about Lara Croft's pizzas in my Tomb Raider
Polygons.
video years ago. But, like, the point of those
sorry,
jokes
is
was
she
that the
dodging
designers
missiles?
of the game put a ridiculously polygonal, scantily clad woman in a sub-zero system of caves in a vest and short shorts. And that is ridiculous and worth pointing out and laughing at. I still love Lara Croft. I still love
I love
Tomb
the Tomb
Raider,
Raider games.
But it is silly, hence I joked about it.
This kind of stuff doesn't seem to have any point to any of the jokes. In fact, none of the parts they write even come off like a joke. There's no puns,
It's just-
tongue-in-cheek writing, or anything. Women drivers.
Really dry humor.
I mean, look at this phone wallpaper for sale right here. What's the joke?
Wait,
And
you
why
had
do
to
feel the
buy
need to
a
pay
phone
for it and
wallpaper?
Post it as a background on your phone. This isn't
I do
exactly
remember
a controversial statement. Are you scared
hearing
that
about
people
that.
think you don't like
But
them? Why
in a
do you
magazine?
care? Mostly the magazine just ends up turning into a load of pathetic gawking from people who have got a bad case of the horn and drooling over any woman at all, while at the same time insulting any woman at all for
That
how
Baywatch?
useless they are at games and
I
how
wanna
they're
say it's
idiots
Baywatch.
that have no
I've
hand-eye
seen the
coordination.
new
Yes,
one.
they printed that. I want to know if you can explain to me why most females are unable to play video games. I know there are some women out there who can, but the majority of them are useless.
Wow.
They can't seem to work their fingers individually. They refuse
That's
to follow
just
simple
so
By the way, ignore that. If you're a woman
incorrect.
who plays games, that's okay, as long as you're even vaguely attractive. All of this is objectifying in its purest form, and it comes across as desperate and creepy in a video game magazine of all things.
Yeah.
I won't lie though, I still do love all of it. It's so horrible, I can't help but enjoy it. It's a car crash that I can't look away from.
By the way, I am not for a second condemning anybody that enjoys bodies. That's not my point here. I mean, who
It's
doesn't enjoy
that it's a video
bodies?
game magazine
Girls
that turned into
enjoy
this.
bodies, guys enjoy bodies, crocodiles enjoy bodies. We all enjoy
Swamp
bodies.
puppies.
We all like what we like, and being able to celebrate or support that is great. But under the correct circumstances. You know, time and place, and not being a prick about it.
Here's a woman dancing and looking a little bit silly. But be honest, you fully would though. Men doing the kiss? Ugh, no, it should be illegal. Why are we even talking about that? But women doing the kiss? Oh, yeah, completely different. In fact, let's play a game where we find all of those scenes in every movie and post about how steamy it makes us.
Why can't I make it record Desperate Housewives?
You know what? I don't know, love. Why are you licking component cables? Look, we found a
'cause you
skirt
need
shot
to-
with pants
Bro.
in it. We've never seen pants before.
This
so we
is some
zoomed in.
down
This
bad
extends
behavior.
to the utter plague of pages dedicated to naughty mobile phone downloads, which never used to be this vulgar. In the beginning, they just allowed you to call up a number
I see
and get
cars.
ringtones or black
Ooh,
and white
Lotus,
wallpapers for
Cooper.
the tiny sum of £4.50 per ringtone. Yes,
That's
adjusted for
insane.
inflation,
My dad
that's
still has
£7.10
custom
for a
ringtones.
10-second snippet of a chart-topping hit, and you already had to cope with your phone looking like that. Well, I suppose it looks better than that. Yeah, in the first few
Yeah.
issues of the PS2 magazine, it was totally normal. Celebrity crush wallpapers,
Why is there just a picture of
terrible
Eminem?
Java games like Rayman 3 or Nightmare Creatures, just in case the PS1 version wasn't pixelated enough for you. There was that horrid sweetie chick that sung those repugnant songs. Oh my god,
I
the
don't
Fast
know
Food
what that
Rockers were
is.
#1 in the UK charts in 2003.
I don't know who that is. I'm sorry, what?
Why haven't we been nuked yet? But as it went on, it got saucier and
What in the-
saucier. With a nice picture of Andy from Little Britain for good measure.
Who?
And
What's
she
Little Britain?
will be loved
Oh, wow.
if she has a pole. And then they started putting so many pages full of nothing but
Wait, what is that
hotlines for
top one
people
on the
that
right?
just couldn't help themselves and needed servicing
What is
right
this?
now. And I mean, having a few phone numbers
Hopefully
for
none of these
variety, I'd understand
are
at least.
still
but
active.
most of these are basically exactly the same thing. How much money were these businesses making? As a customer, how do you know which is the best number to
Or
call
maybe
when they're
PlayStation
all
was
the
just
same?
accepting
Jesus,
anything.
There's just so many of them, and why are
I
some
guess
of them
PlayStation-
so unappealing?
I'm guessing it's also Sony in Japan.
Are
Maybe.
you animal enough?
Culture
I'm
difference.
Fully plucked and ready for action. Well, that line didn't sell me. But that picture definitely did. That makes me want to call right now. Instant text chat. Send tarts to...
What is... Is that a
Oh
food?
yes, the word tarts gets me right in the mood. Is that why she's licking her shoulder? Did she get some tart crumbs on it?
Yeah, it is a
3
food.
texts for grown-up gamers. This one here is probably my favorite one though. Dog with strangers. Delightful.
Okay, just for a laugh, should we call one of these numbers and see what happens?
No.
Great idea, Caddy.
Terrible
Thank
idea.
you, I thought so too. Okay, how about,
Which one?
local tarts?
Oh, I thought it was
That
gonna-
sounds nice and crusty, doesn't it? Let's give it a go.
Okay, I'm about to do it. Let's put the phone number up on the screen so
Oh.
you can see I am indeed trying to ring up my very own local
Did he
car.
try
Let's
it
go.
first?
Let's see what we can find.
You dialed an incorrect number.
Oh.
Please check the
No!
number again.
Was it an actual ad or was it fake?
I want a local tart!
There was a section of the magazine here where they'd go through old movies and rate them based on how many woman parts there were. Less art and more arse would be more preferable. And these magazines I've had since my childhood must have had some pictures or pages that were too much for my little mind to handle. As you can see, I cut out this image that was on a PSP. I cut out
Why?
this part of a page on the review for The Hulk. God knows what that picture was. And there's an entire page of this magazine I outright tore out.
Oh.
Look, I didn't even cut it out. I just ripped it out without even thinking.
Maybe I knew about Kevin Spacey all along.
I don't remember what any of these pictures used to
I'll
have
say,
on them.
so
I
it's
think
that
my mind
old.
must have blocked them out. But yes, I did manage to have these things in my childhood. You heard me correctly. Because when I was younger, I just wanted the PS2 demo discs. And my parents never worried about anything that bad being in the magazine.
Because why would there have
video
been?
games, so if I ever wanted the next demo to play, I just picked up the magazine, put it in the shopping cart without looking at the pages, and then they would pay for it, no problem. However, the
But they didn't
absolute
look through
lowest
it.
of the lows this magazine would reach was with
How
the
does it get
ending
worse?
page segment called Rate Your Mate, a column dedicated to women only, very important, being tempted into sending risque pictures of themselves for the promise of a random prize for their boyfriend, which the magazine would then review and then rate out of 10.
Do they know that they're doing this?
What? What is this? Onision magazine? I mean, look, as long as everyone involved is consenting adults, I don't care that this stuff exists, but come on, guys.
In a magazine
There's a time
about
and a place
video
to
games
whack it out,
and
and while you're
PlayStation.
reading about Jack and Daxter isn't the time. This is a PS2 magazine with this in it. Do I even need to explain how many levels of wrong this is? Here's a quote from the boyfriend. I just hope that she's gonna win at least a game. If not, I'm
What
a dead
did she
man.
win?
Wait. So she'll be angry with you if you don't win anything, which means that she didn't want to do it in the first place unless you begged her to do it so you could win a game. So that means you manipulated your girlfriend into public scrutiny and sticky magazine editor comments just so you could have a chance to win a singular video game.
Does that say
What's wrong
Cinderella?
with these people? Graphics 6 out of 10. Sturdy and well put together. A 3-pinter. Are you
What's a
saying that you
3-pinter?
wouldn't touch her unless you drank 3 pints of beer first? Here they talk about the backstory of this repeating article and how they were trying for months to get people to send these pictures in.
We kept on asking and asking and asking. Keep them coming, people. Keep them coming.
Who was in charge of this?
Young lads ogling you in this here magazine.
And they were not exaggerating about that, because here they are in earlier issues mentioning the idea and practically begging women to send these pictures in.
We love girls too.
I guess this is
Play
a way
with
that
them,
they could
rate
just get
them,
more
talk about them and think about
involved.
them a
I
great
don't
many
know.
seconds of the day. Sometimes for more seconds than games. We've been sent 4 real-life girlfriends.
4?
To review, but
Only
they're
4?
holding back. We want more.
4.
Send your ladies in. Send now. Now. Send them now. We're never giving up.
I haven't seen people this thirsty since Father Jack. Drink! The
No idea who
funniest
that
thing to me, though, is that despite the fact they are on their knees begging for bloody pictures
People
to
actually
shake and
sent
rattle
them.
to, they still have standards, apparently. And if you aren't even conventionally close to Hollywood celebrity stereotypical attractive, don't bother sending anything in because they will humiliate you. This kind of stuff is why the basement-dwelling gamer stereotype still exists. Who in their goddamn mind decided this was a good idea? There was even one time where Hideo Kojima became the boss of the magazine for 1 issue. How do you think that went?
How did it go?
Thrilled. And even though I already owned a lot of these magazines before
so
this video's
they're not
production,
that expensive.
I ended up
Some
buying a few
probably
more
more
online
than
so I
others.
could take a look at them. One of which was sent to me with a page that was clearly so nasty they decided to glue the page shut.
Wait, it's actually glued?
At
It
least
is.
I hope it's glue. For the cherry on top of the cake that has now most
never had
likely
a
been
cherry.
popped, there's a huge review of a game called 7 Sins, which is about nothing but, well, take a guess. And they rated the game 3 out of 10.
Why?
Must be pretty bad, right? Well, according to their own score metrics, a 3 out of 10 is actually extremely
Which means that they got a different product than what they were thinking.
Full marks for realism then. Yeah, this game disappointed them, apparently. What exactly did they expect from a
What do you do with the
dreadful-looking
analog
PS2
sticks?
game all about the bonk? Then again, they also thought that Shadow the Hedgehog holding a gun was really, really cool, so I can't take them that seriously at all. If you couldn't
his
tell,
gun
the
actually
Rate Your
kinda
Mate
looks like
part
my
of the
desk
magazine
gun.
was the tipping point for most of the readers, not just women. It was uncomfortable for everybody, and it lasted no longer than maybe 5 to 10 issues before being canned forever because the magazine sales dropped even lower than they were before. Surprise,
so this
surprise.
move
After that,
did
the
it
PS3
help?
was becoming the next big thing. They slowly but surely climbed out of this weird ditch. The derogatory trash stopped. They actually brought the point back to making more risque jokes. The repeating columns improved significantly to feed into everyone's nostalgia. And they even started taking the mick out of themselves for embarrassing nonsense they tried doing in very old issues.
Good. They're aware.
In one of the PS4 issues by taking this design of the 90s awful orange and blue Crash covers and reusing it for when the Insane Trilogy came out. Crash is indeed back, but he's not a gangster anymore.
He's not.
So
Not with the clock.
I think it's time to close
chain.
the book on this part of PlayStation history. I think it's obvious to say that in many areas, the PlayStation magazine is a little bit of a brown stain on people's nostalgia. But
I didn't know it
like to look at it more
existed.
as a roller coaster.
But now
it had its ups, it had its downs.
I mean,
but I'd be lying if I said I didn't find it fun. I mean, you can't not find what they tried to
It was
get
a
away
different
with
world.
Fascinating. Like, I've been joking through this whole video, but getting really upset about this stuff is ultimately pointless because it's just a product of its time. I mean,
yeah.
I don't see any comedian trying to redo Eddie Murphy's Delirious in 2020. Sometimes you gotta look back at the culture of the time that some of these things were done, and that's where you'll find the laugh. Self-awareness, self-reflection, and self-improvement are all good in my books. And then you go on to make your best work, like Haunted Mansion, Meet Dave, and Daddy Daycare. Damn it!
I'm enjoying the
Follow me
video.
on Instagram and Twitter.
I promise I won't hurt you.
Special thanks to all of my
is that a
executive
threat?
producers on my Patreon
Oh,
page
look
in
at
the
the
description
doggo.
below. Brandon, TARDIS Type 40,
Stan's phrase of the day.
Butler Williams, The Game Shed, Ramen Wolf 1485, Enkamida, Red Eyed Critic, AD
I know his
Smith,
videos
Richard
get like
Reed, Bart Rules,
crazy
Skullman,
long.
Kieran McLaren, Basil, Logan Contresia, Daniel and Alex, and ex-Shadowhunter ZX.
Stan,
What?
we're out of dog food. Pick one of the kids.
Oh no! Oh no. Okay. Well, this is the weird world of PlayStation magazines that I didn't know existed an hour ago. I didn't know that they existed and that they went this direction. But this was interesting. Was it only a UK thing or was it also in the US? Because he mentioned UK, and it definitely looks like it. Like they had a version solely for the UK based off the terms that they used were only terms really used in the UK. So, and also the prices of whatever also in pounds. So, I guess it was a UK only thing. It wasn't a US, which was the PlayStation as popular in the US back then, or was it Xbox that dominated back then? I'm not sure if that was the case or not, because I know, Xbox tends to do... I think Xbox does better in the United States compared to everywhere else in the world, right? Like, other countries, it doesn't really perform as great, even though it is still really... PlayStation's still really popular here as well. But, yeah, no, this was a... I want to say a trip down memory lane, but it wasn't, because I have no memories of this, and I did not know it existed. But this was an experience, a learning experience, to say the very least. And I look forward to the next Caddicarus video, whatever that shall be. Please let me know down below in the comment section. I will be checking the comments before I go and record the next one of these. If you all enjoyed these videos and you want to see more, please let me know. And I hope you're subscribed, as we're like 1,800 subscribers away from 100,000 subscribers. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. But until next video, take care, and key to music.
We were playing